Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here. And I'm just going to be honest. I ran across this clip probably about 3 weeks ago or so. I first saw it on my man's channel. This guy that I watch, his name is Eze. I think that's his name. Is African brother, I do believe. Eze, Eze. Eze Reactions and Reviews. So definitely check out Eze Reactions and Reviews because he was the first place that I actually saw this clip. It's in regards to a woman that says she doesn't do coffee dates. And this is her picture right here. Good Lord. Now, no more coffee dates. First, the Cheesecake Factory is out. Now, coffee dates out. Even though I don't drink coffee, but hey, you can do something similar. Coffee's a metaphor for a little lightweight date. And then now I saw it again. First I saw it on Eze Reactions and Reviews, like I said, about 3 weeks ago. Then I saw it on Blacklight Podcast. I think that's it. Blacklight Podcast with Thon Lexi, something like that. Thon Lexi, ThonLexy. And then today, so what made me remind to do it because I was going to do it when I saw Eze do it. And then today, my man, I definitely watch his channel, JR Wisdom. So if you're not familiar with JR Wisdom, definitely look him up. He's a popular YouTuber as well. All three of these guys are popular. They're way more popular than I am. So definitely check out their reviews to what she said. But I just kind of want to talk about some of her points. The ridiculousness of people out here in the streets, and these women influencing other women to act foolish. It is unreal. And I just kind of want to break this down. We're just going to look at this. Once again, here's a woman talking to the camera in all seriousness. So she's definitely serious. I definitely don't believe there's no BSing with her in this video. This is not staged. I don't think it is. And she's explaining why she doesn't do coffee dates. And once again, you can pretty much guess why, because she's too good to do coffee dates. But let's just listen to it.
So my thing is, I don't like the coffee or drink date because they're trying to audition you to see if you are worth an actual dinner. The number one thing men are judging you off of is your looks, right? When they see you, they meet you, they're gonna be like, okay, how beautiful is she? Is she put together? Do I find her attractive, right?
So she doesn't like the coffee or drink dates because, quote unquote, men are trying to audition you. Newsflash, when you very first meet somebody, especially if you're trying to meet them to determine whether you want to have a relationship with them, an intimate relationship, whether you want this person in your life or not, you're auditioning people. That's just the way life goes. And it's vice versa. Women are auditioning men. You're meeting up with one another. It's not just see. Women always want to play the victim. Women always want to play the victim. It's not that he's auditioning you and you just one of many that's going to be in his stable. I mean, that may possibly be the case, but he may possibly be one of many in your stable. The bottom line is you're both auditioning each other to see, are we a fit? Does his personality complement or mesh with mine? Am I attracted to his personality? Am I attracted to his looks? And his physique, and he's saying the same thing about you. So you're definitely right. But it's an audition for both people. So why should he take you to a $200 dinner because you like to get dressed up? If you want to get dressed up, call your girlfriends and say, hey, look, let's go to the opera. Let's go to some play. Let's go to some fancy spot or whatever. Do it on your own time. Get dressed up. Don't do it on his. And also, too, why would you really want to get all that dolled up? And to be honest with you, this is just my personal opinion. If I meet you and you got a little scrunchie or whatever, I think that's a little scrunchie that girls put in their hair, and you got your hair just tied back, you look presentable. You don't have to look outstanding. This is just me. You don't have to look outstanding when you come to meet me and have on all this makeup and all these nails and everything. If you just come looking decent, you took a bath, you smell decent, and you come in, you're wearing some decent clothes, and you don't even have to be dressed to the nines. I mean, hey, look, man, if a girl shows up in some daggone running, some running tights, which most girls wear, in a nice shirt or whatever, or some decent jeans and a decent shirt and some shit, guys are not going to turn you down exclude you from being his wifey because you came looking regular. If that guy does that, then he's not the guy to be in your life. And vice versa. If a woman turns a guy down based on some superficial stuff, then she's not meant to be in your life. You're supposed to be there to get to know each other, talk, figure out does the conversation flow? Is it fluid? Like when you meet some people, it's just like, man, talking to that person, it's like I've known them for 15, 20, 30 years. It just feels right to talk to this person. And I like the way they look. That's what it's about. It's not about you coming in, getting a belly full of crab cakes and lobsters and shrimps and oysters, and you throwing down a whole bunch of cocktails and you having a good time on his dime. Man, let's continue with this crap.
With that in mind, my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer costs $32. Okay? Why would I put on a full face of expensive makeup, do my hair, make sure my nails are done, make sure there's no hair on my body, and then come and spend 2 hours of my time talking to you for an $8 coffee or a $16 cocktail? Be oh so for real.
So now you heard this, right? So now she wants to go tit for tat to say that, dating for women is just as expensive as dating is for men. Because a female friend of mine told me, she said dating is a rich man's sport, And it definitely is, because trust me, y'all know I'm out here in this dating scene, and you can easily spend hundreds of dollars dating these women. You can easily spend hundreds of dollars dating these women. And that's just in these restaurants today, even a regular restaurant, with them wanting to tip you. Now the tips have gone up to 25%. A lot of y'all don't remember tips used to be 10%. Most of y'all don't remember that. A good tip used to be 10%, 10 to 12%. And then it creeped up to, somehow we got up to 20, and now the tips are up to 25. Outrageous. And the food is just as expensive. So we're not living and you got to look at housing costs, and you look at all of these different costs. It is very expensive out here in this world. And what you're not going to realize, like I said, this woman's trying to go tit for tat. So she's trying to compare a $200 dinner to her throwing on some $32 makeup. Now, mind you, what she's not telling you is that the whole case of makeup costs $32. She probably can hold on to that one case of makeup. That one case of makeup may last her a month. I don't know how long it lasts, but she's not using $32 worth of makeup up in one dinner. That would be insane. If it is, then stop wearing makeup. Because that's crazy. But she's trying to say she bought some like she's putting on a $32 face. No, you're putting on probably a tenth of that, maybe let's just say $3 worth on this one outing. And then you taking off the hair on your body, she mentioned that. Okay, you put some neat on underneath your arms, some neat on your forearms and your biceps, and on your thighs and on your calves, or you took a razor to them, and you already had that in your house because you do regular grooming. And this is so you're trying to, and then your hair and your nails. Okay, maybe your hair and your nail, but your hair and nails, you were going to get that done anyway. And your hair and nails are probably already done. But also, once again, we're not asking you to go out and get your nails done at a nail salon. To be honest with you, I don't even like press-on nails. Just wear your regular nails. All you got to just clean the dirt out of them, and just don't bite them down to the nubs. Just have some regular nails. Come with your hair looking. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just come with it groomed, and the rest is that. So she's trying to go tit for tat to try and make it seem like her money she's spending just as much money on a date as we are. That's BS. That's BS. And then she mentions here, which you're going to find out later on, she's going to mention that she went on 3 dates. She went on 2 back-to-back dates, and that's going to come later on. But a spoiler alert, I'll tell you now, she mentioned that a surgeon or a physicist took her out and somebody else took her out. She went on 2 expensive dates. One was for $250 and one was for $100+. So obviously, when you did your hair and your nails, that your hair and nails lasted you for probably about 2 weeks or a week and a half. I don't know. And those carried you through on multiple dates. These guys, they can't say, okay, well, I paid the restaurant $200 yesterday, so obviously I get to eat for free for the remainder of the week. They don't. It doesn't work like that. They have to spend $250 a pop. So come on, girl, get off of it. These women out here, they out of control. They use anything. There's always got to be. They always have to have a need to be right, as my man used to say. There's always a need to be right and to prove their side to be correct. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, she knows what she's talking about. She just wants to be deceptive, and she just doesn't want to accept the fact that men are out here putting out a lot of money and they're putting out their time just as much as she is, but she wants a fancy dinner out of it because she thinks she deserves it. If you deserve it, take yourself out. But let's continue on. Let's listen.
Let's take it even deeper. When women go out with a man that they do not know, they take a huge risk. Men are crazy. Okay, do you watch the news? Like 1 in 5 men are violent. He could unalive you. He could RIPE you. He could stalk you. He could harass you if he feels like it. Like, it is very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. When you go out with a man, you have to share your location with your mom and your friend. You have to send a screen recording of his Hinge profile and the conversation that you guys had so that if you go missing, they have context. You have to text your friend every half an hour while you're with him to let her know that you haven't been beheaded. You have to take an Uber so that he doesn't know what kind of car you have, and just in case he's crazy. And then when you get home, you have to text somebody to tell them that you made it home alive. Men aren't doing that. They don't have to worry when they meet a woman that they do not know that their lives will be in danger.
So now she mentions what men don't have to do. And now she's mentioning that men are so creepy and cruel and we're just total degenerates, basically. I don't even know why she's dating men. She might as well just play for the other team. Go get a rainbow flag and stick it on your front door. Because now she's basically saying that women have to take these extra steps, which are free steps. The steps that she mentioned don't require any money. It just basically she wants us to pay her for her time because she even mentioned it. She's about her time. And you know who wants to get paid for their time? Escorts. They want to get paid for their time. And this woman wants to get paid for her time. So I'm questioning what you do professionally for a living. Let me explain something to y'all if you don't know, because some of y'all probably don't know. If y'all don't grow up in a big city, listen, I grew up in a big city. I grew up in a roofless city. Grew up still in the city. You know how it can get when you live in the city, especially when you live around our folks. And I hate to say that, but it's true. She says that men don't have to worry about letting people know where they're at and who they've gone out with. That's BS. Do you know how many people, and even my uncles and them will tell you this? Because my uncle say, man, I don't date online. You heard about the dudes that done got set up online? And this is true. You don't know who you're meeting, men or women. And so I'll give her that. I understand the dangers of dating online for women and men. When you're dating online, you don't know if the person that you're dating online is even real. And what she fails to understand is, and she probably doesn't even watch the news, but I can tell you what's on my news in my state and in my city. Young females, and this is where society has gone just totally crazy. Now you see young females carjacking people. You see young females trying to delete people and take people off planet Earth. It was just a story in Atlanta. It's on YouTube all over the place. It happened either this year or last year, where the 2 girls was walking to the apartment complex and they were walking up onto their floor and they were walking to their door and the 2 girls went up the steps in front of them and then waited and tried to ambush them. But the girls fired back before the girls could fire at them. And the one attempted suspect did fire back, but she was falling, so she missed. Luckily, ain't nobody in any of the apartments got killed. Those are all females. When you watch the news and you see carjackings, or you see stores getting robbed, some of the times those are females. So these females out here are just as worse as dudes. Thank you, feminism. Thanks to feminism, women have gotten the right to act just as crazy as men. And women used to not do this type of stuff. But I'm gonna stop beating this with beating this horse, beating this dead horse, or should I say? But the point is that men probably should. She's probably right. Men probably don't call people and let them know where they're going, but men should be calling people to let them know, because there's so many men that have been deleted, as people want to say, because they met somebody on a dating app and they thought the person was who the pictures that they were looking at, and when they showed up, that person, that female, was setting them up with some other dudes, or had them ambushed. This is not a joke. So, guys, we should be taking the time to let people know where we're at, and to let people know that we are okay. Because we don't know if the female that we're going out with is who she says she is, because she might invite us back to the crib and there's a surprise, and not in a good way. So let's continue on.
Quite the contrary, men benefit from just being seen with you in public, okay? If you are beautiful, poised, well dressed, it reflects well on him. People look at him and they think, oh wow, he must be the man. Ooh, he probably has money. You know what? He's probably a good guy if he can pull her. And this is especially so if you are more attractive than him. If he's fugly or he's overweight or he's short, they're like, oh yeah, he must have money in order to be able to pull a baddie like that. So my thing is like, what's in it for women? We've already spent more money than you by just putting our makeup on. We're in danger. Like, what's in it for us?
The more she speaks, the more ignorant she sounds. This is the ignorance of American women, and the ignorance of, I shouldn't generalize it and say American women, but the growing population of American women. Let me just put it that way. The ignorance. It is totally ignorance what she just said. Number one, basically, so she's basically saying is that I'm basically what she's giving the Steve Harvey thing. I'm the prize. I'm the prize. He got me on his arm. She actually thinks she's that beautiful, and actually she thinks she's that gorgeous. And I'm not trying to say she's not gorgeous, and I'm not trying to say she is, but I'm saying she actually thinks she's that gorgeous that people are going to look at him when he walks into a restaurant and say, she is so gorgeous. What is he doing with him? He must be a rock star. He must be an athlete. He must be the president of the United States of America to have her on his arm. Who does he? He must be somebody very important. So let's just go with that for a second. I'm going to act like her premise is correct. So let's just say he walks into a place with you and that is the case. That everybody says, oh man, he must be the man because she is so bad. She is a bang. And number one, I've never seen another man out in public and wondered what he did perfect. Because matter of fact, I just went out the other day. I actually had a date, y'all. So, I'll tell y'all about that too, because I know y'all know I've been struggling out here, but I actually had a date with a nice female, very nice. And I saw this guy, he came, man, his girl was strong. When I say his girl was strong, she was strong, as in like at least about a 9. I've never given anybody a 10. She was at least an 8, 8.5. Strong body, face, everything. Perfect package. And I just looked and was like, dang, she fine. That was it. And then I turned back and was talking back to my date because I'm learning to keep my eyes where they supposed to be. And even when I've been out by myself and I've seen guys with strong women, I look and I be like, man, your girl's strong. I've even complimented some dude. I had a dude before, and I said, man, yeah. It was probably a couple of years ago. I said, man, I said, boy, I said, you got the right one there. Me and him said something because I saw her first, and then he kind of came up. And so he noticed that I looked at her. So I just acknowledged. So when she walked away, I just acknowledged to him like, yeah, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. And he was like, nah, bro, you good. And I said, yeah, bro. I said, you doing your thing. And we just dapped each other up, kept it pushing. Not once in any time where I've seen a gorgeous woman with a dude have I ever said, what does he do for a living? He must be somebody fantastic. I may have said, dang, how did he get her? Yeah, I may have thought that, like, dang. He pulled her, man. Dang, how'd that happen? I may have thought that, but nothing has ever thought, like, what does he do professionally? So she's trying to make it seem like this dude is getting some type of status from society. And even if he is getting status from society, what is that benefiting him? Do you think that if he takes her to a job, let's just say he takes her to a job function or something, but this is a random date, so he would never take her to a job function. So what do you think a first date, a guy taking a woman out on a first date to a restaurant full of people he don't know, do you think that, let's just say, for example, Sean Puffy Combs is in this restaurant. Do you think that Puffy's going to walk up to this guy and say, man, your girl is so beautiful, you must be somebody important that I need to know. Here, take my business card and me and you going to do business next week. I'm trying to figure out where she's going with this because no guy is going to get some business connections because he's with a fantastical girl, not on a first date at a random restaurant. If that happens, that must be very rare. That's number one. So all he gets is bragging rights. So basically, all you're saying is he gets bragging rights from a bunch of dudes he doesn't know. And 9 times out of 10, most of those dudes aren't going to come up to him and compliment him on how fine you are. Not unless you are super fine, like I said when I ran into the dude. That's it. But, so he gets bragging rights. That's it. Let's talk about what you could possibly get. She says that women don't get anything out of it. That's BS. So let me explain to you guys something. I was just I was just watching some YouTube videos, and like I said, that's how I saw that JR Wisdom. Shout out to JR, my man. I like his videos. I like his channel. That's when I saw that JR had also did a reaction to this clip. But before that, I was watching a Kendra G clip, but it was actually on Single by Choices. So check those brothers out. Single by Choices. And they were doing a Kendra G reaction to some female in Pensacola, Florida. And she was dating some dude that they call Wide Neck. And I had to even Google him. I didn't know who he was. But that girl in the video said, well, the girl in the video said, because they were asking him, because the dude's neck looks grossly unusual. His neck looks really weird. And people were saying, well, she's a pretty girl. How did this dude Wide Neck get you? And she was basically saying he had money. He flew her to Las Vegas and introduced her to Tiny and T.I. So obviously she gets more out of it than him. So what, he gets bragging rights that, okay, so Tiny and T.I. just get to say, man, you got a beautiful girl. But she can get financial gain from this because now she's been introduced to some people, some in the music industry, some influencers in the music industry. And she could have possibly been like, and now she's hobnobbing with people that he knows. And she can say, hey, well, look, how can I get put on? Maybe we can exchange numbers and I can get put on. So now she's benefiting. So, but let's just say that still doesn't happen. Let's just say it's a common everyday thing. They're both just in a restaurant and he's just getting compliments from you. So what? Nobody's approaching him telling him that for the most part. Y'all are just two people in a restaurant full of other people enjoying their meal. Neither one of you are benefiting. The benefit that you're supposed to be getting is, at the end of the day, the objective of the date, whether it's a coffee date, whether it's a stroll in the park, or whether it's a 5-star meal, the objective at the end of the date is not how good the food was. The objective of the date is, did I enjoy myself with him? And not in the manner of he took me to King's Dominion or Disney World and I had fun, but in the manner of, was the conversation between him and I, did it flow well? Could I see myself with this person? Do we have, values that, either complement each other, or even if you're polar opposites, like there's a guy, I forget his name, it slips my mind right now. He's a Democrat strategist, and he's married to a Republican strategist. So even if you're polar opposites, it's like, do I still respect this person? And can this person be an asset in my life? And also, am I attracted to this person? That's the objective of a date. It's not that he has eye candy on his arm or that you can get business connections from him. That's not the important stuff. The important stuff is life partnership. Do your souls complement one another? Let's continue with this crap.
So then, all of that, plus, this man is a pharmacist. Okay, you mean to tell me you make upwards of $150,000 per year, but you can't take me to $120 to maybe $200 dinner, 2 drinks, an appetizer, 2 entrees, and a dessert, like, and that kind of thing. Look, men are supposed to be on their best behavior when they're doing a first interaction with a woman. Like, that is when they are at their absolute best. So if he's being cheap now For a first interaction, he's gonna be cheap on your birthday. He's gonna be cheap on Christmas, like that kind of thing. That only gets worse. It never gets better. That is the type of man that's going to want you to work full time, pay half the rent when you guys move in together, do the majority of the housework because he doesn't want to hire a housekeeper, raise the kids, plan most of the things, and then after you do your 16-hour shift of labor, he's going to want you to be happy. Dollars. Okay, so the pharmacist tried to give me a coffee date on a Friday. Saturday, a surgeon took me to a beautiful dinner with a view. The next day after that, this other man took me to this food event where the tickets were $250 because he wanted us to have VIP. So don't feel scarce about it because there are plenty of men, there are a plethora of men that would be more than happy to show you a good time. So never settle. Date until you find the best man for the job, and you got this. That's my TED Talk for the day. You didn't ask, but I felt like you would listen. Send this to one of your friends who needs to raise their standards and tell me what you feel like in the comments.
So here's also, too, the problem. Now she wants to shame a guy for being cheap. It never fails, y'all. Want to shame a guy for being cheap. She's making it seem like, oh, because you make $150 and you can't even take me on a $200 dinner date. This is what she fails to realize, because a lot of people, and I get this on my job too, you get those customers that, on your job, those interactions or people that you interact with, they act like you're the only person that you need to do something for. They act like they're the only ones. You have to be like, wait a minute, hold on. This is a one-to-many relationship. I have other requests. I have other things that's going on. You're not the only one. It's going to get done. It'll get done. I got to prioritize certain things. And so what she's not understanding is this. It's not that, and this guy, maybe he can't afford the date. Maybe he can't afford $100 date. Maybe $100 dinner is not his priority. People prioritize different things. What you're going to notice that, and let me just say this, and this may be off topic, but I'm going to say it. Men and women prioritize things differently. I know for me, I'll be cheap in certain areas. Like, I don't need to spend money on that. I don't need to spend money on that. But when it comes to like electronics or something like some tech stuff, don't give me no cheap brand. I need to go all out. I need the top of the line because this needs to last, because those are the gadgets that I'm into. So there may be certain things like, let's just say furniture or something that I may just say, that's not worth it. I'm not spending that type of money. But then there's certain things I'm not going to skimp on. And this guy may be the same. He may look at food as, hey, look, you want me to spend $200 on something that's going to go in and come back out in a couple of hours? I'm not going to do it. I don't know. And especially not for a woman that I don't know. The second thing is, she acts like $150,000 is a lot of money. And trust me, because I'm not going to say how much I make. But trust me, $150,000 is nothing. $150,000 is somebody that probably lives on a farm. If you live, and I shouldn't even say a big farm, I'm just talking about you live in some poor little town that no one has ever heard about. Some poor little minuscule town no one has ever heard about before a day in their life. And the homes there cost like $130,000. Like, you can get a brand new home built from the ground up for like $160,000. You try going to some place like New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Miami, Chicago, San Francisco. You are definitely not San Francisco. You'll never make it on $150,000. You need to probably be on the corner slanging to supplement your income. And I shouldn't say that, so let me just say I'm joking on that point, just so I got to put that in there. But you cannot make it on $150,000, not in San Francisco, not in Hawaii, not in Seattle, Washington, and probably not in LA. $150,000 is nothing. And I hate to keep saying that, and I've said that in several videos before, but it's the sad reality. A lot of people, so for people that make less than 150, I feel bad for y'all too. But 150 people think $150,000 is a lot of money, and especially if you're a single person, you have to pay all your bills yourself, and especially if you're a person and you're trying to save for retirement, so you got some of your money going into your retirement fund. Because trust me, once they start chopping up your check, by the time your $150,000 salary, that's about what, $15,000? That's not even $15,000 a month. That's probably more like what, $12,000 a month or $13,000 a month. $13,000 a month before taxes. Then you gotta think, you gotta take taxes out of that. You have to take your retirement out of that. God forbid if I don't know where you live in, but if, like I said, if you living in an expensive city, you have to, budget for, your rent and your mortgage. You have to budget for food, which, like, you can go to a grocery store and buy 10 items and you're already at 150. Trust me, it has happened to me before. And I'm like, man. Because trust me, even $200,000 is nothing. You make $200,000 a month and you be a single person and live in an expensive city and see how far it gets you. Because trust me, you will be like, man, $200,000 is nothing. And especially if you're a type of person that you have investment accounts, you have money prioritized in other areas. And then you have to think about this, that this man makes $150,000. You don't know what his bills look like or what his savings look like. And he's trying to probably juggle and say, well, I have several women. I just went on 5 dates last week that all cost me $100 each. And none of those women panned out because either they were too aggressive or they just didn't like me, or their pictures was from 1977 when they were small and now they big, or they were big and now they small. You don't know what it is. So this man has to juggle. He's probably trying to balance his money. And then once he finds the one that's right for him, like he said initially, he said those dates are fine, but for an initial date, let's get to know each other. He's trying to focus on getting to know her. She's focused on the experience and how well he's going to spend money on her. That's all she's focused on. So I just want to touch in on that point, is that she's looking at it and trying to shame him for making $150,000 and basically she's calling him cheap just because he likes to manage his money well. And so this is just the ridiculousness that we've come to in society. She'll probably down him if he pulls up. What if he takes you on a $200 dinner, and what if he's making $150,000 but he's driving a Hyundai? I don't know, and he's just driving some little inexpensive car. Then you're going to shame him for, dang, I don't want to ride around in that. Why don't you have a Benz? You make $150,000. She wants her man to be poor. She wants her man to look rich and be poor. She obviously hasn't read the book, The Millionaire Next Door. And so now she's going to say, and so just to kind of wrap this up, so because I kind of chopped this, I kind of cut out some sections and then I tied this back in onto it. Because you'll notice that she said that she declined. What she did was she unmatched this dude. She basically said, I don't want to deal with him. So then she says, well, the silver lining in it, she's letting the females know, if you stand to your guns and you stand, because these women, they got standards and they say they're not going to settle. I've done a video on it. If you don't settle, your Prince Charmer will come along. Because then she mentions, I just went on 2 dates. I met a surgeon. So she has to throw it out there that she's met a surgeon. So she's just trying to let y'all know, I met a man that makes probably anywhere between $250,000 to $400,000. Could even be $1 million. So I met a surgeon. He took me to a wonderful restaurant with wonderful views. So she's letting you know that. Okay, so if you met him and if the view was so wonderful and the date was so wonderful, why did you go on another date with another man the very next day? Because then she said, and then the next day, I went on a date with this guy and he spent $250 on the tickets. The tickets were $250 a piece. Okay, well, what happened with those? Are you still single? Apparently you got 2 guys that just spent the type of money that you want to be spent on you. Why didn't they pan out? Maybe they didn't want you. Maybe you didn't meet their standards. So you have to see that these dates are just a carousel. So you're just going around and around dating just to get free food and free experiences in life. But you're not fulfilling yourself. I don't see where the fulfillment is, because if you went out with a surgeon The surgeon should have automatically made your eyes turn green with a dollar sign right in the middle of your pupil. And you should have just been like, okay, I can cancel the date tomorrow with this $250 ticket because I found my man. He took me to a nice, wonderful restaurant on the water or whatever scenery she said she was at. And he's a surgeon. This is it. And you should have just canceled all of your dating profiles and just been like, I'm good. We together now, forever. But she didn't do that. And then when you met the other dude that took you out for $250, why didn't you settle with him either? So these are the type of things that just kind of ticks you off. And just because they took you to fancy places don't mean, and just because he's a surgeon doesn't mean he makes more than that guy that makes $150,000. That guy that makes $150,000, he probably, you don't know what his money look like. He probably balances and budgets his money well. That surgeon could be doing all kind of stuff with his money. He could have all kind of fancy cars and this and that, and he's poor, living paycheck to paycheck, looking for somebody else to operate on so he can get some more money. I'm going to stop it here because I could just keep rambling. This is ridiculous. The dating scene is just ridiculous. Women, please listen to me. Don't listen to this lady here. Don't be like this lady. Go on a coffee date. Go on a walking date. Just meet somebody and just say, hey, man, let's just meet up and do X, Y, and Z. Go on a bowling date or something. The purpose of you going on a date is to meet somebody. Trust me, this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. You can go on a cheap date, and then at the end of the day, if y'all do get together, trust me, you may get a maid. You may get whatever it is. But obviously, this lady doesn't want to do anything. Because look, she said, if he ain't going to spend this type of money on me now, what he going to want me to go 50-50? That means she don't want to spend her money. She don't want to work. And she don't even want to work, and she don't even want to do dishes. Think about that. So what do you want to do? Just sit in the house all day? You want to sit in the house all day? Do you want to you probably going to have an affair on your husband because he's no longer fun. All he does is work, girl. He be at work all day. He go to work at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm home from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with nothing to do. I don't have nothing to do. Well, why don't you wash the dishes? I don't want to wash no dishes. I don't want to clean no floor. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I just want to have fun. He don't leave me money to hang out and have hangout money. I don't have nothing to do all day, so the pool boy is available. So we do what we do. So what do you want? I'm confused by this. You want to do absolutely nothing. And then she says she don't even, man, I even got to plan the outings. I even got to plan the vacation. You don't even want to use your mind. She don't want to use her hands. She don't want to use her mind, trying to figure out. She don't want to plan anything. She don't want to clean anything. What is it that you want to do? Man, I tell you. Let me end this here. But this is a political brown kid, y'all. Don't be like this. Please don't be like this. Give peace a chance. Give love a chance. And don't base love on what type of fancy restaurant you went to. Once again, this is the political brown kid. I'm out of here.